When I started the Power Connector podcast, I set out to explore what real connection looks like in business and in life. I'm someone who values deep one-on-one relationships, whether I'm working with business clients or a coach. That's where the magic happens, in the space where someone really sees you and helps you rise. Today's guest, Michi Tyson, I can pronounce it correctly now, is someone I've had the privilege of working with for, I looked through my messages, the last 6 months. From our very first lesson together, I could see that she does things differently. Her approach is thoughtful, grounded, and deeply intuitive, not just with horses, but with people too. So I knew I had to have her on the podcast to explore this theme of connection, confidence, and showing up for what you really want. Michi, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
Now, first up, and I probably didn't let you know this bit, I do have a personal story.
Yeah.
I like to start with to understand why I've asked you on the podcast. So I'm truly grateful to have you here because I do think you have so much to share with our audience. But before I dive in, as I said, I want to share a quick story about why I think you're such a powerful example of using connection to support your clients, both two-legged and four-legged. I started writing again for our audience 18 months ago after a long break. I think it was 16 years off. And as everyone can imagine, the learning curve was steep, not just mentally, physically as well. Not all in terms of writing technique, but confidence, because with horses, a lot of it is about confidence and mindset. Somewhere in that process, I did something probably a bit bold, and I brought a young horse, Spice, for the future. But buying a young horse is probably a little bit crazy on paper when you're just started riding again, but it was something I really wanted to work towards. And after working with you, Michi, for a while in lessons, I decided to send Spice to you to be started. And importantly, I kept having lessons at the same time. So I think that story is important to me because what stood out to me in those 90 days working with you wasn't just how you work with my horse, but how clearly you were considering me in the process with my lessons and working with Spice. You took the time to understand where my riding was and my confidence and what I need to step into the next phase of riding a 2-year-old. And when it came to riding Spice for the first time, you made that whole process feel calm, safe, and empowering for me. And that was so important because that came from you understanding me. And that's what I talk about with connection is if you didn't take that time to understand me, I don't think that process would have been so positive. So that's part of the reason why I had to have you on my podcast.
Okay.
So first, I'll now give you a chance to talk.
I'm probably blushing already here.
I know it's not easy hearing about yourself,
No.
but I think it's important to give context. So we're going to work the audience through your story because I think it's such an interesting story and it's so diverse. So you're raised in a small Austrian town and you found your love for horses at 3 years old.
Yeah.
Can you share what that, obviously it's a long time ago, not that long ago. Yeah,
yep, a very long time.
Can you share what that early connection with horses felt like?
Yeah. Do you know what? I know it sounds ridiculous, but even at 3, the first time you look at them, there's just something about them. There's these huge creatures. And I don't come from a horsey family. So my mum is terrified of horses. Sorry, Mum, but you are. So they're big. They can be intimidating. But you look at them and you just see something completely different. So that's fascinated me. It's that these huge animals can be so intimidating, but they're so fragile on the inside. They're so soft, so kind, so willing to let you see who they are. And that's just, I've always loved animals, but horses very specifically. I always felt that if they look at me, they see me. And if I look at them, I see them.
Actually, I think I saw a quote today. It was along the lines of the thing about horses is what sometimes people do find them intimidating because they actually make you realize your flaws a little bit, the way they connect.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point.
And I think horse people are horse people. And at 3, I see it in my niece. I actually had her riding the other day and she just loves it. And she's out with the young foals and she's just a horse person. But our own kids, they just weren't,
Yeah.
they just didn't have that love. I just think if you're a horse person, you can't deny it.
Yeah.
Like you connect with them.
I think we have, and you'll notice that later in life, horse people are weird people. They really, we all are weird.
Yeah.
But I think there's an element. There's something that makes you good with horses, probably makes you a little less good with people, because there's a way that you learn how to communicate, and the way you are doesn't necessarily work with people all that often. But yeah, I think you can see that people have a connection, a true connection. I think it comes out early.
So you first owned your first horse at 12 because
Yes.
you didn't come from a horse family.
No.
What are some of the lessons you learnt then that still guide you today working with horses? Because when you first get a horse, it is a whole thing.
Yep. So I got my first horse and started my first horse at 12. So the first things you learn is that the ground is hard, and that stupidity does actually hurt, especially when you're working with horses. It can hurt a lot. So much I think I've learned is not even so much of what to do, but what not to do. And I think that's important. And I almost wonder if we've lost the art of fucking up. I hope I can swear.
Yeah,
sorry,
no,
guys.
yes, you can. You can.
We live in a world now where we like to sanitize stuff, and everything you see just looks beautiful and looks pretty. And that's just not the reality of training horses.
No, you learn from your mistakes.
Absolutely. And horses learn from their mistakes as well. So I think a lot of what I've learned is what not to do because you get hurt. I've learned that it's very hard to make a good horse. I've learned that patience is everything. If you're not patient, if you don't have the time it takes, you'll never make it. It just, there's a saying, Rome isn't built in a day, but it burned down in one. And horses are a bit like that, Like it takes forever to make a good one, but you can wreck it in a day. And I think that's over the years, but especially from my first horse, I learned a lot of what not to do. And I think the last thing I've learned is when they like you, it just goes down a bit easier. That's
for sure.
And I've held on to that up to now. Sometimes people call you a pony patter, but I reckon if your horse likes you, everything goes out a little bit easier.
Yeah, like if they like you, obviously they're trying to please you to a certain level. And we actually started noticing with my horse, like Spice, is because she was rushing the float, we're taking it really slow. And Evan's been helping me. And as soon as she gets off, she like turns to us for a pat. And it's just like, see, I did good. Like, where's my pat? And I think she's certainly wanting to please us. And that's positive. So you had an injury and time away from horses, and you built a corporate life.
Yes, I did.
In the UK, and then later came to Australia. What did success look for you in that world? Because that's obviously very different to your world now.
Yeah. I'll be completely honest, I fell into it. So it wasn't a great plan. I had this career idea and this is what I wanted to do with my life. I kind of just stumbled into IT when it was hot, early 2000s. I've learned that I have a particular knack for certain things when it comes to working with people. And from then on, I built most of my career around management, consulting, coaching, performance coaching, etc. Look, success, gonna have to be honest, it's money. Back then, it was just money. I come from a very simple upbringing. There's no inheritance, there's no property, there's nothing else. Neither does my husband. So for me, it was really about making enough money to live the life I wanted to live.
And I think if you talk to anyone when I talk about women in business in particular, and I get on my rants about it, that we get made feel like we shouldn't say we're doing it for money or we want to make money. And I'm like, but males all the time in any industry that they're allowed to glorify that they want to make money. It's like, I think it's okay, and we need to make it okay for women to more to say it's about money to live. There's another sort of lifestyle I want, and the money, the career sometimes is the money to, in my case, horses are expensive. So I think it's okay for me to say, as much as I love print design and signage and I'm very good at it and passionate about helping my clients, that ultimately the goal is to make money so I can afford more horses. Just don't tell Evan.
Oh, look, I think as women, we need to own it. We can ask for things in the same way that men can ask for things, but we can also take things that men take. Men take pay rises, don't think twice about it. Men take promotions, men take glory, men take whatever they want.
Yeah, and we should be exactly the same. So was there a moment, even during your corporate years, where you felt that pull back to horses, or was it the whole time?
So much of it was the whole time. Sometimes, not going to say, you kind of, especially after you've had a promotion, or, you've done something cool, like, being invited as a speaker somewhere, where you think, oh, maybe I should just stick with this. But realistically, I think the more time I spend with people, the further up you go, the more first world the problems become. And I think I found myself, especially the last few years, just sitting there, and every so often you zone out a little bit and you go, what the fuck am I doing here? I'm just helping you to be greedier. I'm just helping you to, cut more expense, make more profit, be shittier. I'm making everything worse. I spend my time on actively making the world a worse place. And it started suffocating me. It just wasn't who I was. And then coming home, so I used to do a lot of travel, be away from Sunday through to Friday nights. But coming home and seeing the animals, seeing the horses, seeing this place, I was just starting to think, what the fuck am I doing? I'm doing something that disagrees with me deep, deep down in my soul, and it's eating me. I don't like it.
Yeah, but I think that's sometimes growing as a person.
Yeah.
Like as we go through life, we grow as people and realize about that.
And being honest with you as well, I think I found it for a very long time, it can be hard to, when you're good at something. People keep encouraging you to do something that you're good at, especially if it makes you a lot of money, So you question yourself, am I being stupid? Am I being dumb having a dream that I know is going to put me in a completely different bracket, socially, financially, in terms of the future? So I think, the growth for me has come very much in just growing a pair and doing it.
Yeah, we're definitely taught success is very good, like is performance and making money, and that's what success in life is.
Yes.
But sometimes success can be viewed differently.
It's how you define it. We like to materialize it because it's so easy. It's so easy to put people in the box, If I know how much you earn, I know how I should be treating you. I should see if you can be worthwhile to me or not. All of these kind of things, And I've always hated it. And there just came more and more times. So I'm like, why am I playing a game that I hate and that I condemn? And I was like, yeah. And horses don't play games.
Oh, sometimes, sometimes
they play stupid games and win stupid prices.
So you made a huge pivot after your father passed, and you walked away from, I guess, what people view as a safe path and successful path. What gave you the courage to do that?
Not sure if it's courage or just fear. I think I just panicked. I was 29 years old when my dad died. My dad was 59, so not super old, and he went quick and he went down hard. And I think to a large extent, my dad and I didn't have a good relationship or any kind of relationship growing up, but he was the part of my influence that was, you can do it later. Work hard now, make all that money, get all that influence, make sure you're someone important, make sure you're this, make sure you're that, and then live your life later. And fucking later didn't come for him, did it?
No. Nothing's guaranteed.
So, once you put someone in a coffin at 59, you're going, shit. So I had a panic attack. It was literally just that. I looked at my life and was like, if this is what's going to happen to me, which can happen, half my life is over. And I'm doing something I hate.
Yeah.
What am I doing? So really, it was just utter fear of what would happen if I didn't do it.
And I think it's an important lesson. We often talk about, like, obviously the Australian way of life a little bit is you work hard and then you're going to get to retirement and you're going to buy a caravan and you're going to travel Australia, right? And we've done some travel ourselves, and you see these people traveling and they can't go see half the sites because they're physically unable to actually walk down the path and see that beauty, and you sort of just think you're traveling around to drive and sit so that's why the shift is changing a little bit in Australia to try and do it earlier, and I think that's awesome because nothing's given.
No.
And even when you're older, like certainly horses is not something, the older you get, the harder it gets. So.
Yeah, it takes a long time to get good, and you want to be pretty bloody good by the time you hit your 60s.
So what was the hardest part of letting go of everything in the corporate world? or was it not hard at all?
No, it was not damn not impossible, to be completely honest with you. Look, the regular income,
Mm.
the air conditioning, the time off. So there's three things that, still know a lot of people. My husband still has an office job, and there's certain things where you're like, God, that'd be nice.
Holidays, like,
Oh, yeah, like I
know,
can just book time off and then I don't need to work.
I
And
know, like we've just had 2 weeks off for Christmas because we shut down, and that's it for me for
yeah,
the year. So yeah, I do.
it's
This concept of having holidays.
oh, yeah. So holidays, a regular income.
Yeah.
That's the other thing, horse business is up and down. We're very weather dependent. We're very dependent on the economy. There's no long-term guarantee. So that was really hard because I'm also, as a person, I crave safety.
Mm.
Like I'm a real safety craver. Um, so the hardest thing for me to really let go was that level of safety, knowing that I will still have work next week
Mm.
and next month and the month after that. Because a business like this, you just gotta hustle, hustle, hustle. I don't take short termers at all, so my minimum is a month. But even then, like most people have job security beyond a month
Mm.
or 2 or 3. And going from having extreme job security, being in a niche field and being very good at it, to going, well, maybe there's a paycheck coming in next week, maybe there ain't. That's been the hardest, and 10 years later, that's probably still one of the biggest challenges.
And would you say, like, I resonate with the safety, craving that
Yeah,
safety, and that sometimes comes from like growing up in where there's not a huge financial
yeah,
safety net.
yeah, yeah,
So when you certainly are. So I imagine that would be very hard.
yeah.
And I still struggle with it running a business is
Mm-hmm.
because you have to hustle all the time because as much as we all like to say, oh, if we do everything, it'll bill. But, in our case, one of our biggest customers could be struggling.
Yeah,
So then that affects us.
yeah. You can't
And
control. There's things you can't control in business,
no.
and it just is.
So what helped you trust yourself during that big time of change? You obviously got a good support network in your husband.
My husband's been amazing. Brendan's just been, for the last 10 years, he's been amazing before that. I used to travel so much for work, and that's
Mm.
been really hard on us for probably about the first 4.5 years we've been to Australia. I was barely home. And he's been amazing throughout that. And then I went to being home all the goddamn time.
How'd that go? Because I know what it's like spending too much time with your husband
No
because I
such
walk
thing.
with him.
There is no such thing for us. I still think we don't have enough time together because I'm down here and he's up there.
Okay. My family always comment like, don't you just get sick of each other? You work together and then you actually want to spend time together. And I'm like, I don't think we got enough time at the start of our relationship.
Yeah.
There's never enough time.
We're just like two children, and we're greatly in love. We don't have kids, so
Yeah.
we're just a very tight couple. And look, the other thing, and this is something that's probably kept me going more so than it's allowed me to make the push, is you get to know yourself, and I know who I am, and I know I can come back. So far, nothing's happened that I can't pick myself up from. I'm resourceful. I'm a comeback kid,
Mm.
and that's really been it. So you might as well just plunge.
That's a great. I think that's a big lesson is about knowing yourself and trusting
Yeah.
yourself. Without that,
It'll kill you. It'll ruin you. And
Mm.
I don't think you can. There comes a point where the only person in your own business, the only person who can prop you up and the only person who can kick your own ass and make you keep going is you.
yeah, you got to be self motivated or not so. I think motivation is not the word. It's got to be discipline.
Yes. Oh,
Because
yes.
I work with another coach in business, Danny, and we talk about all that time. It's the discipline of showing up every day. Because if you wait till motivation,
Oh,
it's
no.
just, and so you have to give yourself that discipline.
Yeah.
Otherwise, things aren't going to happen.
Yeah.
There's no one stepping in to save you.
No.
Yeah. So, what does connection mean to you in the context of both working with people and horses? Because you work with both.
Connection for me is it's building something mutual. It's not a one way. It's not transaction. It's not a one way thing. It's a path to communication. It's also, for me, there's communication, and then connection is that next step where communication is so good that we can resolve conflict. I feel that both people these days are either overly argumentative or avoid conflict altogether.
Mm-hmm.
We've kind of lost the art of conflict resolution a little bit, you know? And I see it with horses sometimes. There's people who are way too soft on their horses, and there's people who pick a fight every 5 fucking minutes with a horse when they absolutely generally have to. And that's where, you know, from communication to connection, the connection part for me is having enough empathy and understanding enough about whoever I'm working with on the other side to be able to work out of their frame of mind, if that makes sense. There's no point in me hammering you with something that doesn't make sense to you within your context, within your frame of mind. And the same with the horses. So connection allows me to start seeing your frame of mind where you're at and come from that perspective to help you understand me better. Same with your horse, help your horse understand and learn. So much of a trainer's job for me is teaching your horse how to learn. It's not even so much about what I'm teaching it, especially with the babies. It's about teaching them how to learn and how to start becoming better so that you actually start to build on top of it. And I think people are very much the same. You know, a lot of people come to me at different stages in their horsemanship. But the connection is, for me, understanding why you're here. Not, I want to be a better rider. But no, why are you really here? What's your dream? Deep down, what do you see yourself doing? Is your dream winning buckles? Is your dream galloping up the hill, you know, with your arms stretched out? I actually don't care. But connection is about, let me see you. I'll let you see me. And together we'll figure out what the best thing for you is.
And I think I like how you say communication, because I think that's part of why I started this connection, but it's connection and communication. And we do a lot of training ourselves on, we do sales training, but on communication. Because I think to really build relationships with people, we've lost the art form of communication. I'm not the best at it, I know, and we need to work on it. But yeah, like you're right, I'm probably one that will just avoid conflict. Or get me on the wrong day, I'm just going to like go full born, like there's no black or white. But it's like learning to stop and go, how do I communicate properly? And I think even as a person getting lessons, I think sometimes we need to be aware of ourselves, what, like you said, finding what we want to do. Because if you're not going in wanting to learn, well, then what are you doing? If you, like, we've had this discussion that some people just want to be told that they're doing something great and how great they are. And I'm like, well, what am I here for? Don't like, obviously there's a fine line. You have to have encouragement along the way, but I don't want to just be told I'm doing great, because if I'm doing great, what do I need lessons? What do I need to learn for? And when we do that in business, we go in with the mindset that there's so much we can learn. And people, so I think people need to learn how to learn better. So I think that's beautiful that you say that young horses, you're actually teaching them to learn, because if they don't get set up from a young age to learn, well, then they're not going to progress, are they? And humans are the same.
Look, I find they either learn to, and you know, I'm on the spectrum myself, and I think autistic people are very similar to horses, and autistic kids can be a bit like that as well. Horses either learn to learn or they learn to fight. And I think that you see the same with a lot of kids on the spectrum. They either learn to know themselves and understand themselves, or they learn how to shut down. And you know, there's so many similarities, and I meet a lot of people that I don't feel know themselves very well.
Oh, 100%. And I'll say up until probably even a year ago, I probably didn't know myself, and I do work on that.
I think it's a constant journey, but it's really interesting because you start seeing. And this is where it becomes an interesting thing when we do lessons, because there's a three-way communication and there's a three-way connection, because it's you and the horse, and then there's me somewhere trying to find a way to communicate with all three of you. But it's one thing that I love, and you know, you're seeing it, and you've learned so much over the last 6 months about how to connect with your horse and communicate without being weak about. I don't like that word. Without being
gentle.
too worried. I'm not sure it's gentle. People are worried about, people are worried, my horse is not going to like me.
That's she doesn't like me, or she's not going to like me. I can't be mean to her. And it's like, I so see it now that you have your boundaries with them, and she's come back that she's seeking those boundaries in a way, and she obviously really likes us because she runs up in the paddock every time we go down there, and she's changed. She changed from being in our face and disrespectful to seeking out acceptance from us.
Yeah.
But I have been tough on her, and that's okay. She still likes us.
And that's, this is for me, that's so beautiful when people start learning that conflict is a good thing. I've had some conflict with your horse.
Yeah.
You've had some conflict with your horse. That's fine. It was fair. It was required. It was necessary to establish boundaries, but the connection is better, not worse afterwards.
Yep.
And this, for me, this is so important in everything we do, and in business communications as well. It can be so hard to work in the equine industry. Sorry, guys, but some of you are hard to work with. Because we don't understand that sometimes a strong word every so often, a strong conversation, conflict is not a bad thing. It can create stronger connections, better connections, and better communication. And I think that's important.
Even if conflict gets to the point that you decide you aren't the right fit to work with, and you know, like, people think even that's a bad thing. It's not. Like, if we've got a conflict and work out that, you know, even in our business that we just see things differently, well, then that's okay.
Yeah. Oh, look, I think everyone's better off. Why would you? I'm going to say it now as a business owner. Why would I want to work with someone who doesn't want to be here? Because it doesn't make my life any easier. I'm not having a great time doing it. And it's not like we're getting this rich off of it that it's worth it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but also, like, if you're passionate about what you do, and if you are working with someone that you don't feel like you're helping them. Like, I know how I take my looking after my clients so seriously. And very rarely has it happened that I've got like we do our MPS score, and I think I've had one bad one in like 2 years. I was devastated. I'm like, and it wasn't even like, we spoke to the customer and solved it, and it wasn't even really our fault. It was just a communication error, and it just devastated me because I take so much pride in helping my customers and my clients. So I imagine it's the same. Like, it's if they don't want to be here, or they're not getting the best out of the situation, it reflects on you. Take it personally, even though you shouldn't. But
but you do, but because it's your business and it's everything. And like I said earlier, I allow people to see me. I like to think I'm relatively approachable, and people get to know me relatively easily. And that's, that's kind of, I think then it becomes a bit difficult. The personal thing comes in where I've allowed you to see me, but you've only shown me a part. You know what I mean? So then it's like, okay, fine.
Yeah. And I talk about this. Denny taught me this, and it's about energy.
Yes.
Some people's energy just matches other people's energy.
Yes.
And it's okay sometimes to say, look, just our energy isn't just gelling. And we talk about that all the time because we do a lot of networking. It's like, do you walk in a room and like everyone in that room? No, you don't. Like, let's all be honest about it. So why are we expecting everyone in that room to like us? And so if you apply that to business, that sometimes people's energy as people aren't gelling to work together.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
I think it is.
And you have to move on.
I think you need to do it for yourself.
Yeah. So I think you work differently to many riding coaches, because I don't think you give lessons, you coach.
I coach.
So I think it's different. So how do you build such strong trust and one-on-one connections with your clients?
Look, you've met me. I'm pretty open. I'm pretty open straight away. I'm open about who I am. I'm open about what I know and what I don't know. And how I like to work. And I just expect that back. So much for me, it starts with openness and honesty. If we can't be open, we can't be honest, you can't coach. This is just not happening, I can sit here and, tell you to go and up and up and up and up, but that's just not me.
Well, that's giving a lesson. It's not coaching.
Yeah. It's not, I don't do it.
And I also feel like different people are at different stages. I think if you're just wanting to occasionally get a lesson and get some little tips, then clinics are probably more for you, because when you talk about connection and the regularly, like, it's understanding progression.
I think it's where I'm coming from. It's almost more where you want to go, I like working with people who want it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? If there's people who have a horse and it's just a hobby thing. It's,
Mm.
it's a bit like a bicycle, and they grab it out of the paddock every Saturday and they throw a saddle on, and, off we go, and we kick to make them go forward, and we pull left to go left, and we pull right to go right. It's not for me.
Mm.
It's just not, I'm serious about this. I take my horses seriously. I take their welfare seriously. I take their emotional well-being
Mm.
seriously. And I expect my clients to do the same, because there's plenty of other people who are more than happy to take your money while they clap you on loping around on the wrong lead. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to
Yeah.
be me.
And everyone has a different journey, right?
Yeah.
And I always say, if even with horses in life, but especially horses, it's understanding. I think everyone has to be honest, because
Yes.
it's like, if that's your journey and going for trail rides, that's all good.
Yep.
All good. We're all here to do something different
Yep.
with our horse. Some people just like to go and connect with the horse. And even when I started brought Spice, I didn't even know where it was
Yep.
going, because I was I don't openly talk about this too much. I was 65 kilos heavier. And I had back problems. Did I
Mm.
know if I was going to be able to ride? No, I really didn't know. But I was seeking that connection with the animals and the horse again that I grew up with. So I'm like, oh, she's pretty. Like, I can at least connect
Yeah.
on the ground with her.
Yeah.
And obviously I've done amazing and it's gone differently. So, but if my journey was to lead her around and show her, well, then that was my journey and that was okay.
Yeah.
And I think we just have to be honest and support everyone in their journey, and people have to be honest back and go, well, and if you're
I'm not
open,
for
if
you.
you're
Yeah.
open about that, then
Yep.
that's okay. It doesn't mean you're a bad
No.
instructor or anything, or coach. You're just saying, this is my niche.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Look, and I don't, the last thing I want to do with this, because I've quit my corporate job because money isn't the most important thing to me in my life.
Mm.
So I'm not here to just try and suck people's money out of their pocket. I want you to I want you to have a good time working with me. And I think, like, even if you just led your pony, I don't do lead classes, but you're the person. It's more about a person than it is about a goal. It's someone who has a bit, who's got something. It's hard to describe, but you're driven. You're driven. You're independent. You make your shit work. I've seen you do 15,000 things in a day and still rock up with your horse for a lesson. And you put on your trailer, you put your horse on your trailer, you drag your trailer up the coast, you unload your horse, you reload it again, and you drive home. And that's kind of more what I'm talking about. That
and it's that discipline. I
Yes.
think that go back to discipline, because even I just being on holidays, I've ridden 4 days in a row, and I think the last 2 I was just like, seriously, I've had nana naps, and I'm like, I've got to go ride this horse tonight, and my body, like, I don't know how you do it. I've done 2 days in a row, and my old body's just like aching. And it's like but once you do it, like, you're so glad you've done it.
Yeah.
And you're, even if the riding doesn't go the way you want, you're so glad that I got up and I did it and I achieved it. And like that discipline, it really does take discipline,
Yeah.
because your days can be long, and especially if you're running a business, or just, we're all busy, and it is a side hobby. It's so hard to fit in. And then tonight, like, we'll rush home to feed her and do, like, so yeah, it takes so much discipline.
And I admire it so much, and this is what I mean by people who want it.
Yeah.
You want it, I've had clients who were too old to ride, who just wanted to learn how to lunge one better. If you want it and you put into it, because there will come a point in your horsemanship journey where shit's going to get really uncomfortable.
Mhm.
And you've hit that point at times already. Some of it is physical.
Mhm.
But there's going to be that emotional, mentally and emotionally. You're going to hit a point where shit just gets super real and super uncomfortable. And if you can't push through this, I'm not the person to sit here and say, it's okay, keep holding on to your horse's mouth because you're scared. It's not me, you know what I mean? And because I like the horses better. I'll be completely honest. But that's what it is. If you're willing to do the work, then I have all the time for you. Day, night, you know it. But the one thing I need people to bring here is a desire, a want, the discipline, and that little bit of oomph that takes.
Because the horses, and you talk about, the thing with horses, it's not just you're working with yourself. Like other sports, you're working against yourself and you're
Mhm.
on your body. And if I do the same thing, like if I practice the same move over and over again, my body's going to get muscle memory
Yeah.
and it's going to learn and get better. With horses, you can do that, but then the horse decides to do
To
something
do something
completely
yep.
different,
Yep.
and it doesn't matter. So it really, I think horses take so much more discipline.
So much more discipline, but at the same time, I find so much more let go.
Mm.
We have to kind of let ourselves and our expectations go sometimes, especially when you're riding young horses. You know what it's like.
Yeah.
They don't go the same every goddamn day.
No.
So, and I think that's where some of the emotional work comes in, is knowing that, hey, we've had a great ride yesterday. What the fuck is this horse today? Something completely different, and just being able to have the patience to see it through and
adjust expectations.
yes,
And just go, okay, today hasn't gone to plan. What's one thing I can do to end this on a good note?
absolutely.
And finish it up.
Yeah.
And I certainly had that yesterday. What's one thing I can just do to have her finish nicely and positive and move on? So I think it has, but do you think your years coaching corporate leaders has shaped the way you train horses and support riders?
Yeah, absolutely. It's been look, the formal knowledge of mental models, of learning,
We've had that
learning
discussion
models.
when I was frustrated, and I'm like,
Yeah.
thank you for breaking that down, like the learning models where you are in a stage of learning.
Yeah. So all that, just having a bit more formality around it, it helps me explain it to people better. And it helps me with myself, because I'm not just a coach and a trainer, I'm a competitor myself. So, I go out there myself and I do what I teach people to do. I've coached myself for these models 100 times over. It's not like I haven't sat myself down and said, Michi, the reason why everything seems like it's absolutely shit right now is because this, and this, So no, it's absolutely helped me. And I think the other benefit I have is because I had a relatively long break. So I've not been training horses. I've not consistently been training horses all the way through. I've had the experience that I think a lot of people my age, if that's all they've ever done, there's experiences you haven't had. And I see people like, wouldn't it be nice? I wish I'd have done something else. Or that's all I've ever known how to do.
Because they've grown up with it or something like that. You at least know this is really what you want to do.
Yes.
Because you've done something else.
I've had a very clear choice. I know the other side, and I never wanted to go back.
Mm.
And so it's brought me that as well. It's brought absolute clarity to what I wanted to do with my life. Because I would have been a horse trainer from the age of 3, but my mum was like, they're all broke. You got to do something that makes you money. And she was right about that. And she made me finish school and all that. So she was correct about it. But, it's one of those things that I look back now. It's like, yeah, I could say I've lost 10 years, but at the same time, I think I've gained something completely different.
Yeah, everyone learns from what you've gone through, and it makes you who you are.
Yes.
And you can't ever regret that, but it can help you understand how you want to go forward.
Yeah.
So that actually leads into what I want to talk about next. Is you talk about knowing who you are and authenticity being non-negotiable. So what does being authentically you look like showing up in work, even when it's uncomfortable? Because sometimes it is.
I think authenticity, some people more, some people less, but it's something that you kind of need to practice, especially in a world that does teach us to be horrendously inauthentic. For me, authenticity, firstly, I don't actually believe that you can be much of a horseman or horsewoman if you're not authentic. Because horses...
The horse will see it.
Yeah. Horses don't give two shits who you think you are. They look at you and they know who you are. And that's, for me, authenticity so much is about knowing how much I have, how much I do. Like, I've got a horse back there, and I tell everyone, if I need to know what mood I'm in, I look at Jackie, because he'll tell me from a mile away. Like, some of them are so feely. If I'm anxious, he'll bloody know it, and he'll know it before I've even, put a halter on him. So it's then about recognizing, okay, hold on just a second. I'm a little highly strung today. I need to work on that. Or is this horse not coming along, or am I being impatient? Who am I? What are my flaws? What are my faults? Am I too short-tempered, I think it's probably taken me well into my mid-30s to say I've got the patience, the true patience you need to make a good horse. The letting go of it, this is not about me, this is not about my ego. Let's just let's just make it happen. So for me, authenticity is so much about every single day. Whenever I look at a horse, I see my own reflection.
Mm.
What is that horse saying back to me, and what is it saying about me? And having to face that. Because I think that's often the hard part, is horse will always tell you who we are. Can you face it? That's, so I don't think I can do it any other way, because horses will see it anyway. And so much, and probably this is also, so many people say, oh, you got to make more money off lessons, or make money off clinics, or do a video series or something. I just want to be a horse trainer. I love it. For me, I feel it's what grounds me, what keeps me being who I am.
Yeah, I know. I heard someone say it, and I was so resonated. Even when it comes to like the marketing, self-promotion side, if it feels like a chore,
Yeah.
like it's not right.
Yeah.
Like you should feel like you want to be doing that. So if doing video series or doing that feels like a chore, like something you've got to do, it's not always the right path for you.
Yeah. And I just love the horses, as much as I love coaching people with their horses, that one-on-one time, that saddle time, it just doesn't get old.
So what do you think horses can teach about us, about ourselves, that obviously there's other coaches that
Yeah.
other coaches don't experience because you're coaching and working with horses?
Horses will teach you. I'm going to go strangely philosophical with that. And I'm sure I thought about a different answer for this, but I think I'm actually going to go with what's coming into my head right now. Horses, for me, teach you that there's still magic in the world. There's something about it, and no matter how many horses you start, every time you ride one, or even the ones I've shown for a while, you sit on there and it's like, I can't believe you let me do this. I can't believe I'm actually sitting on here and we're running after a cow at 100 miles a fucking hour, and we're having a great time doing it. And there's just something that breaks my mind about it every single time. And I think you don't get that pureness, that honesty, that straight upness, this just, I'm going to be your partner because I have a connection to you, because we're a team. That team feeling. I think the only other person that makes me feel so safe and so well taken care of, as my horses do, is my husband. And that's, that there's a connection. There's just an absolute deep down, they see you and they look into your eyes and they know how you're feeling,
Yeah, and they wouldn't be doing that for you. Like everything doesn't come together, and like especially in competition with so much involved, it doesn't come together, and it wouldn't be happening if they didn't want to do that.
No.
And they want to do that because of their connection with you.
Yeah, they want to do it. And you find that, often there's some horses are easier than others. Some horses are just very specifically 1 or 2 person horses. They just won't do very well for other people. Some horses are more relationship based than others. But I will say for all of my horses, that extra 10% you need when you go into the pen, that comes from them. That comes from them because they want to do and because they want to do for you. And you also see it, like we do a lot of stuff with our horses, bridges, gates, water, dragging stuff, God knows what. They trust. They trust, you know what I mean? They trust we're not going to hurt them. And it's that, nothing else. In a world where it becomes more and more dog eat dog, horses aren't like that. And you can't replace that.
So for someone listening that they're feeling stuck in life, like their life isn't aligned, what would you say to them, having been through your journey?
Figure out who you are. If you're stuck, then you're not living the life you should be living for yourself. Look at where's the difference between who you truly are, not what people tell you. People tell you so many things about yourself. And I will say one of the things I hated most about corporate, every single time someone came around with a goddamn personality test, I wanted to kick him in the face. I cannot. To this day, do not stereotype me this badly. I fucking hate it. I think it's a bit of an autistic person thing as well. We hate. It's none of this is true. Stop doing this. But we are like deer in headlights when we get tested like that. So stop and think about, what am I being told about myself, and what do I know about myself?
Mhm.
And then from what I know about myself, how much in my life, how much of what I'm doing is actually something I want to do, something that gives me something, whether it's release, whether it's pleasure, whether it's discomfort that you needed. You know what I mean? I've jumped out of a plane at 14,000 feet too. I'm not normally someone who likes feeling unsafe, but every so often I need an adrenaline rush, you know? And then strip everything else away. Whatever you have, there's responsibilities that, will be inauthentic to you, like paying taxes. Keep them to a minimum and really start figuring out what fulfills you, and forget the noise. Everyone's going to have 15,000 opinions on what you do in your life, from the way you look, the way you talk, the way you dress, to, the way you wipe your butt. Let them. Just fucking let them.
So, next we can go into the future.
Yes.
So,
Oh,
what's
good.
next for Tyson Performance Horses? Do you have plans that you're building towards?
For my own horses, so I've got a little colt. He's going to futurity in 2 years' time.
I actually went to pat him today. He goes, I don't like him.
Yeah,
I reckon he's one of those one person.
yeah, he's a
one or
little
two person.
specific. He's a little on the specific side, especially at the moment. So that, I'm very excited about that. I've got a
I
couple
like
of.
him though. He's so cute.
Isn't he? Yeah, he's so cute. Mostly when he's not being studied.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of horses I want to get into the bridle for show seasons coming up. I've just got a new little project which I haven't shown off yet, but I will in the next couple of weeks. And honestly, just keep booking good horses. For a horse trainer, look, all we want is riding good horses. And I feel, especially over the last couple of years, I've booked some really, really nice horses. And I want to continue doing that. If I can get client horses to show, even better. I'm hoping to get you in the show pen next year.
Yeah, that's going to take.
No,
we're
gonna absolutely do that.
That's going to take a lot of effort.
Doesn't matter. I'll drag you screaming.
That's the thing. You'll really have to get in their head, because my head's like.
I will do it.
Yeah,
Easy.
No, we will get there. So where would you like to see your business evolve in the next few years?
Well, that's a fascinating one, because it's such a volatile industry. We're so reliant on the weather. We're reliant on government changes. We're reliant on vegans. Thanks for everyone who hated my posts. Just on the side. But there's so much. And the other thing is, you run a business the way I do it. The asset is me here.
Yeah.
If I break my neck tomorrow, this is all going out the window. So I don't tend to plan too far ahead. Yeah. Mostly for me, it's like, I just want to get better. I want to get better. I want to learn more. I want to become even better horsewoman, a better competitor. Keep the place up and running. Try and make as many improvements as we can. With the money that we earn, and that's really it.
And I think that's a beautiful lesson, is just get better and learn.
Yep.
It's like you can. I think if anyone, obviously it's nearly 2026 and people want to talk about their goals and New Year's resolutions, I think it just needs to be, for us, is just always learn.
Yeah.
And get better at what you want to do.
Keep moving.
Yeah.
Keep moving.
Yeah. And you can, because I find, like goal planning can be great, but being a perfectionist myself, if you don't hit that goal and you're devastated. So if you change that mindset, like you have your goals, but I've got on my arm tattooed, it's progress over perfection.
Yes.
So that's so important. And when I was frustrated riding my horse yesterday, on the way back, Evan's like, reach arm. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, mate, don't talk to me. Reach arm. So yeah, just, and that's just learning. We're going to keep progressing at the time that it takes. And I think that's so important with horses, because it just has to be some progress.
Yeah.
Because you're never going to it's never going to be perfect.
And look, there's this concept of a finished horse, and I actually don't believe there is such a thing as a finished horse. There's always there's no such thing as a finished human. We get less flexible as we get older. We become more of a pain in the ass to deal with as we get older, but we're not finished. So I don't think horses are necessarily finished. I think we sometimes just lose interest in educating them. And I think people are saying people aren't finished. Some people just lose interest in growing themselves. And I'm not that.
Yeah. I think if you learn that drive to be a better person in some way, and you want to kid yourself that you're perfect in every way that you deal with people or whatever, because one thing I've learned to do recently is apologize to people. Like, that's progress. Just not Evan.
No.
Just not Evan. But and that's because it's like that reflection that how I react in some situations isn't always perfect.
Yeah.
So like it's that ability to grow. And I think if we lose that, it's a little bit sad.
Oh, everyone else, it's like stopping on the highway. Everyone else will just overtake you, and you're going to be left behind.
Like, I look at my dad, he's 71, and he's been spending his Sundays learning how to train working dogs.
That's so
It's just
cool.
it's like, but he actually goes and regularly does, and he's 71 because wants to learn how to train working dogs. He's 71, but he's not giving up.
Good.
And I think that's important that he like you can look at that and he still will try and ride horses, but that learning how to and go and he gets lessons in his clinics with people. He's not going, I'm 71, I'm just going to sit here and give up on life. And that he's still doing that at 71. And even go back years ago when he was probably more physically able, he was doing lots of clinics and a lot of riding and saying, I can always learn a bit more.
Oh, yeah.
And that's important.
And I think we all can, and the world will be a better place. I think we'd be more forgiving towards one another as well if we were more understanding of everyone's learning all the time. We don't learn all the lessons all at the same time,
Or in the same way.
Or in the same way. So, and maybe that's if you're talking about who do I like coaching. Maybe it's actually just people who have a learning mindset. Most importantly, that openness. That's like even if you're pretty good, I'm pretty good. Could I be better? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty good. Do I still make mistakes? Absolutely. So it's if there's one secret to life and probably also getting old, is keep moving and keep having an interest in your own life.
I love that keep moving because sometimes I can't keep up with my dad. And I'm just like, mate, he just goes.
Yeah, but he is a bit much.
Yeah, he just goes. And he's just, and I think that it's awesome that he does.
Yeah.
But I just we went to rodeo and we're walking back to the car and us girls are behind and he's just off. And I'm like, mate, hey, just let us catch up.
I'm surprised he wasn't behind the chute.
No, he'd give it a go. He'd give it a go. So personally,
yes,
what are you most excited about the life you're creating?
All of this. I've gone from waking up in the morning crying before I even got out of bed to getting up every morning and going, holy shit, this is pretty cool. It's, the work is hard. And there's days where you just cannot do it, or you think you can't do it. You're going to get up and do it anyway.
Because unfortunately, horses need to be fed and looked after.
Yep. Don't help.
With animals.
Yep. Don't help.
They can't sit there for you to decide to get back to your passion or physically want to do it.
But having built something that's me, you know what I mean? This is me. I don't have to run around and I don't have to kiss people's ass. I don't have to I don't have to fit in a box. I don't have to conform. And look, it is a very conforming industry. So I know I'm on the outside because conforming ain't my cup of tea. But this is the thing. I've built a business that's just authentically me. And it doesn't matter if it's the biggest horse training business in all of Queensland. It doesn't matter if we've got 5 buckles, 50 buckles, or no buckles. I've built something that's me that can sustain me. And most importantly, something that doesn't drive me fucking crazy. I don't hate myself and I don't hate my life. And honestly, I think these days it's actually quite rare.
And I think sometimes the bigger you get, the more headaches that come with it.
Oh, look, it's, the other thing is there's a quality aspect to me. The bigger you get, the more you step back. I've been a businesswoman. I'm not interested in being a businesswoman. I don't want to overmarket. I don't want to spend 4 days a week doing marketing activities and one day a week patting horses. I want to be with the horses. I want to be with the cows. I want to ride. I want to train. I want to show. And once you get out, it's taken me a long time to kind of not feel the pressure that I have to be big and I have to be successful in this way. There's the best question that you get in the horse industry is, It's not a question, it's a statement. It's people going, I've looked you up and nobody knows you. Which in the horse industry might as well be, oh, you shit. And I've heard it a million times. I've heard it so many times. And it gets to you. And I used to let it get to me. And I used to let it, I used to lie awake and go, oh, how can I make this bigger? How can I get my name out? How can I make sure everyone knows who I am? It's all gone. It is all gone. What I have here is authentically me. And you like it or you don't.
Mm-hmm. So in one word, what does connection feel like to you?
Safety.
It's great. What's one piece of wisdom or experience that you hope others take away from your story?
Just do it. If you're currently not happy in your life, and I'm not saying mildly inconvenienced, but if you drag yourself through life feeling like you have to constantly wear a mask, be something that you're not and be someone you're not, stop doing it. You only get this one goddamn chance at life and you don't know how long it's going to last.
The only person can make the change is you.
Yeah. And it's scary and everyone's going to tell you not to do it. But I personally find that nothing beats living who you truly are and not just playing a role in some sort of overhyped cosplay.
Yeah, we're definitely taught by society and probably our schooling system to mask who we are to fit in.
Yeah, look, and again, some people on the spectrum, we mask all the time. And there'll be people who will tell you need to mask harder. And they're like, well, you could just tell me that I'm a terrible human being the way I am. Put a bag over my head all fucking day long.
What does us women get? Too much.
Yes.
And we're too big. Too big and too much.
Too loud, too bossy. Definitely, I've heard bossy. I'm sure you've heard bossy before, right?
Yeah, my husband calls me boss. Yeah, so I've heard that.
Well, there's boss, there's bossy. I have a bossy cap, very specifically, because fuck these people.
Yeah.
Yep. Too loud, too ambitious.
Because God forbid, as much as you hate personality profile, if you're someone like me that's a strong D personality, you definitely get that you're too bossy or you're too much or too direct.
Yep.
And then I sit there, I'm like, well, why am I fluffing around with my words? I don't have time to fluff around with the words.
No. Look, and again, you work in a male-dominated environment. I've always worked in male-dominated environments. You look around and you go, I don't know, seems to be fine for everyone else. Why, no.
Yeah. So I've got some quick fire questions for you. What's your go-to confidence booster?
Oh my God.
Yeah, I didn't send you these ones.
No, I'm panicking. My go-to confidence booster, my horse. Honestly, like right now, my colt. I just look at him and, yep.
Yeah, I said that. One thing I said, do you ever just walk up to your horse, like you walk up to your horse and paddock or tied up and go, God, I've just got a beautiful horse?
All the time.
I do that with his wife and she's like, she's just so nice.
Yeah. All the time.
The biggest compliment I got from my niece was that she looks like a Barbie dream horse. And I'm like,
she does a bit. Wrong coloured mane.
But yeah, but like it's just, I'm always about different.
Yeah.
So I've got the different Barbie dream horse. So what's one daily habit that helps you stay grounded?
Shoveling shit.
Yeah, it doesn't matter how big you get. If I've got to shovel shit out of the horse float.
Yep.
Yeah. Evan got so excited yesterday because we were coming back from riding and he's like, I bet you as soon as she gets in the float, she's going to.
Yep.
And I was walking to get ready and she did it before the float. He's like, oh, so much easier to clean up. He's good at it. So he was so excited. So what's one woman from history you'd love to meet and why?
Oh God, this is such a hard one. Woman in history and why? Erin Tarmino. And why? Just because I've been fangirling so bloody hard for over 6 years right now, 7 years.
And so I don't know who that is. Like, just to help. Like,
yeah.
I'm still catching up, right?
Yeah, no. She's a horse trainer. Okay. She has just last year won the world's greatest horseman in the US.
I'll have to look that up.
And I saw her story in Down the Fence, which is the Geek Out movie for people who love Rain Cow Horse. And just following her and hearing her talk. I watched this movie in a group, and very embarrassingly, I was the only one who bawled, because that's how I fucking am. But she just made me watching her ride, seeing her talk, made me cry. And she's done amazing. Like, she's skyrocketed since. So I'd love to meet her.
Yeah, and I think that's it's awesome as another female horse trainer to find a female horse trainer and say they're amazing and build them up, because I think that's certainly females in general. We often bring other females down, a lot of jealousy, or we're taught to compete with other females.
Yeah, we're
Just to
taught
go
that's competition.
out in the world, she's amazing, and that's awesome.
Yeah. We need more of it, and we'd all be better off.
So that's all the questions I have for you. Do you have anything else you want to share with us? Or you got any questions for me?
Any questions for you? What's the worst thing about lessons with me?
I don't think there's anything bad. It's probably more my frustration. It's like, it's when I'm not getting it. It's not you. It's just, I think, because when you come into a lesson with you obviously, we're not doing stuff that I can do.
No.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm not coming here to go do something that I'm comfortable doing. Like, you can start with that, but it's always about progressing, and it puts you out of your comfort zone. And I don't think we ever don't have a lesson where I thought, oh God, that was hard in some way. But to me, that's a good thing.
Yeah.
So, like, I think it's probably frustrating for me at times, but then I don't think we ever walk away where we just go, well, you're not getting it. Oh, well.
No,
you know what I mean? Like, we'll change and we'll work until we get progress. But yeah, no, it's definitely hard. And there's sometimes, you go home and you start playing it over in your mind, and it's just like, because the learning is hard.
Yeah.
But I don't think you go to, like, I guess other people are different, but I don't go to lessons not to learn and progress.
And I like that.
Yeah, I think you have to get frustrated at some point.
Oh, well, again, like you said, it's discomfort. If you don't hit that discomfort, you're not learning. Yeah,
that's it. It's learning to live with that discomfort.
Yeah.
And sometimes that can be hard. And I see why people give up, or like if you actually got a coach pushing you to go, oh, well, I'll just go find someone who's like, cause, and people are different stages in life and journey and might need that everything to feel easy, but that's not me. I actually want to learn. But it can be frustrating at times.
I think the only other thing I might want to share is what you've just said. Is really fucking hard. It's really, really hard. And I think I often don't appreciate that people look at horse riding and think it's easy.
Oh, yeah, that's it. It's even my daughter commented the other day, oh, yeah, riding a horse is easy. I can do it. And it's like, when was the last time you did it? Oh, I went on a trial ride on Jess, and it's like they penned her in and the horse just followed, and she goes, I'm like, it's not easy.
So I just want everyone to know that this is really, 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 really hard. And it's really hard, even if you've done it for 20 years or longer. It's supposed to be hard.
Because you were telling me a story that every time the Olympics come up and people start talking about, I've got 10 years to the Olympics, what can I learn to do that's easy? And they pick horse riding. They think that's the easiest sport that they can learn to.
Every tech bro I know thinks that we'll just ride the horse because that seems like the easiest thing to do. And I'm just sitting there, it's like, sure.
You've got to forget about getting the animal to do it. You have to get your body to work in ways it's not normal.
Yep. And you have to be so much more flexible.
You have to be doing something this way and then something that way. And it's hard to get your leg to go where it's supposed to go.
Yep. And you've got to be smart. I think this is the other thing. I feel that the time of unintelligent horse trainers is over. I don't think you can be dumb and continue to train or be successful for a long time. We need to think. There's so much thinking. And I think this is the other thing. People think horse training is physical. It's really not. So much of it is emotional. And so much is about thinking and understanding and getting things done. And, we talk about men and women as well. I think this is why our styles differ so much. Men can still do certain things by just by sheer power.
Mm.
I can't. 5'3", 52 kilos. Everything I get done on a horse, I have to get done through cooperation and through outsmarting them. And I think I want people to know that too. Like, riding horses is a thinking person sport. It's incredibly hard, and you got to be smart about it.
And I think it's important to say it's hard because, like, obviously we're in Australia and the Australian ways to make out everything's easy, and I'm just
She'll be
naturally
right.
talented and she'll be right. And I'm probably not actually overly certain in the Western world and people talking and other trainers talking, actually saying being a trainer's hard. They want to make out it's just easy and they're natural, and because that's good marketing, right?
Yes.
You know what I mean? But
Never made a mistake.
yeah.
Never fucked one up.
Yeah, that's it. But it's like learning, and we were even talking about people not recognizing how hard it is and how many years of learning and unlearning and learning and unlearning it takes to get to train a good horse. And then you give them a price of what you charge to train, and they think you're overpriced.
Yes.
Because look, we get
Yeah,
it in the
yeah.
visual communications. It's like, oh, that's overpriced, or graphic design. We get that all the time too. It's just like there's so much to get to that point, and what I've had to learn and invest and time, and it's been hard.
Yeah.
Because if you don't, as probably potentially as an industry talk more about it being hard, then you're not adding value to what you do.
Yeah.
If you just say it's easy and I've got the natural ability and market that, well, then it's hard to put the value on yourself that you should put.
Yeah. And I think you actually hit a very good point. And I think this is the wedge we're finding ourselves in. Look, it's becoming harder. It's becoming more expensive to have your property. Your rates go up. Everything goes up.
Southeast Queensland.
Yeah. Feed goes up. And, most of us are very cautious about raising prices. I try to not do it unless I absolutely have to. But over the last 10 years, my actual take home, while my prices have gone up, my take home has gone ever so slightly down. Because there's also, and this is the other thing, in this country we're unregulated. All you need is a Facebook page.
Yeah.
So you can easily find a trainer around here who will charge half of what I do by the week. They're 17.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They've learned, and I'm not saying they're bad. I'm just saying there's a difference between having done it for 3 years and having done it for 30, ideally. And there's a difference between having your own property and having to pay for insurance and having to pay for maintenance and feeding them properly. Then, just having them out on the grass somewhere and riding them on the same paddock as they're grazing. So you're absolutely right. Because we're unregulated, it's difficult to make the argument quickly. And people don't have the time to listen and think and all that. Everything's quick. You know it. When you send quotes through, how many people read through your proposal and how many just look at the fucking quote? That's it. Bottom line, the rest out of the window. Don't know why we even bother.
I get so frustrated. I'm so specific about what's on there, and then they come back and like, oh, well, I thought I was running this. I'm like, well, so specific because they're just looking at the price.
Yeah. And it's, we suffer greatly from that. And there's having to find that middle ground between staying affordable, which I understand. Look, it's expensive. Horses and horse training is expensive. I feel bad sending invoices every week, but at the same time, I could eat.
Yeah. And realistically, if you're not putting your prices up at least 5% a year, you're going backwards because our inflation is just ridiculous.
Most horse trainers have gone backwards over the years.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, like we all doing it tough. And I think that's something for people who are not so aware of it as well. Is this is such an such an image conscious kind of environment. Just because price doesn't necessarily mean quality, but it definitely has something to do with it.
And it's probably potentially always going to be an image-conscious industry because at the end of the day, a trainer going to an event looking great, that's, having a horse do great. You can't get away from that people go, I want my horse to look like that.
But I think they're two different things.
Yeah.
The trainer looking great and the horse looking great are two different things. And I think this is where you got to be careful is find someone where the horse looks great. Pay less attention to what the trainer looks like.
Yeah.
Is, but do your research and also find someone like I. The worst thing I've seen early on in my career is people who paid a little money to have a job done and then paid a lot more to have it redone.
Yep.
And that's it. There's that saying, if you think it's expensive to hire an expert, go hire someone who knows nothing about it.
Yep. Oh,
That's
100%.
yeah,
I've done a podcast on virtual assistants, and because that's the same in
yeah,
our industry, to say that I've got this overseas virtual assistant and they're going to do my graphic design, and then it comes to a printer and it's not set up properly, so I'm either going to send it back to you and you're going to pay them again to fix it, or I'm going to charge you to fix it, or it's going to be bad quality. I'm going to go, that's your artwork. Or the reality is a virtual assistant isn't actually an expert in graphic design, so they're probably taking 5 times as long to actually do it. So it's probably costing you the
cost
same
me
in the
the
long
same.
run. Yeah, it's like, it's be smart with it. And I think the thing with horses is, if it's not done right the first time, because they're a living, breathing animal that have emotional capabilities, that it can actually stuff them forever.
Yeah, look, it makes it harder. It really is. You start with a blank canvas. Every time, like you said, it's the learning curve. If you've learned something and you have to unlearn it, it takes time to unlearn. And then after you've unlearned, you have to learn a new habit. So every time your horse learns a bad habit, it's at least twice the time, because I have to unlearn and then relearn something else. And I hope this comes, or rather, let's say it that way. I think I've started selecting my clients via that. It's like, if you're willing to pay my rates, I'm not cheap, I will do the best job I possibly flipping well can for you. If you come at me and it's like, I can have a discount, that's an immediate see you later. Don't bargain, don't hackle, don't just,
No, and I think that's having that value in yourself and saying, well, this is I always got clear communication and regular updates, and you don't always get that, and just understanding and just having say, this is my point of difference. This is why I charge. This is what I charge, and this is my point of difference. Take it or leave it. Because if you start bargaining constantly on price, then that's always going to be the case with that person.
Yeah. And it doesn't, there's also part of me is like, well, what does it mean to you then? What's more important, how much you pay or how well your horse is being cared for? And if the price is more important, then we probably won't get along. But this is something you learn about yourself. And it's like, okay, if you go, money was more important than the horse, then look, this is probably not going to work, man.
And I think you also have to be fair and even compare that. When people start comparing prices, location comes into it.
Oh, yeah.
That doing a horse trainer out on a property where property
Central
prices
Queensland,
aren't going up
Yep.
1.3% per month.
Yep.
Like, that's the figures we're at. That you can't compare that price to that price.
No, absolutely.
It's not saying you won't produce great horses, but
Yeah.
you probably will. But
Yeah.
there's price difference for that reason.
And, I think it's like any kind of business as well, in the same way that petrol is more expensive the closer you go to the cities or to the populated areas.
I know. I think it's just crazy. We're at Warwick. It was like 40 cents per litre cheaper.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it's the distance, and they've got to travel out there.
Yep.
But it's just supply and demand.
But, and it's the same way as like the benefit you have here, close to shows. You can come see your horse. You get regular updates. Somewhere else, they can turn the same great horse out, have less overhead, but you probably won't be able to go and see your horse.
Mm-hmm.
Or, they won't be able to go to as many shows down in New South Wales because it's too far. Or the travel is going to be way more expensive when I charge it out. So,
And when it comes to getting a horse trained for yourself, you can't then regularly go and get lessons with that person to actually, because I think that's a big thing, is actually
huge.
You can, what Spice does for you is different to me because I'm still learning.
It's a handover. She knows how I communicate with her. You two guys need to develop your own communication, your own connection.
Yeah.
I can't hand that over one-on-one. I can only help facilitate it.
And there's no use getting buttons put on horses that you don't know how to use.
It's the fun. No, there's nothing funnier than people riding a horse with a lot of buttons who don't know how to ride the buttons.
You press a button and you're like, why is it doing this?
Yep. Great videos of people getting dashboarded over and over again online.
All right. So thank you for being open and honest with us today. I think that's so important. And I think what stood out to me is how much thought and heart you put into every relationship you have in business and with your horses. Because I swear sometimes Spice likes coming back just to see you. But you've reminded us that true connection takes time. It takes effort, attention, and a willingness to actually connect. So that when you talk about just being open in yourself, that's a willingness
Yeah.
to connect and be accepted or not accepted.
Yeah.
And I think that's the hard thing, is being that willingness to be not accepted. Because we all want to be accepted, but to go, this is who I am, and if you don't accept me, that's okay.
Yeah.
Like, that's hard. So for anyone listening, I hope this inspires you to build deeper, more intentional relationships in whatever space you lead. And until next time, stay grounded, stay open, and keep making your mark on the world, one connection at a time.